As a world-renowned world-class jerk, it should come as no surprise that I like to mess with things. And so that's exactly what I did. And given the fact that you're here on this video, you know that that thing is video editing. There are in fact so many things you can do with video editing. For example, I can make it look like I'm in two places at once. Here's another slightly simpler example. Now while I will admit this one is weird almost to the point of lacking creativity, it perfectly illustrates that having the same methods does not equal the same outcome. Both of these clips share many similarities, but they look nothing alike. There is one key similarity that they both have though. They suck. So what do I mean by that? Well, I mean the quicker you throw a clip together, the worse it will be. And if you throw a clip together too quick, like say because you want to upload a video by Friday or something, then it will not be too hard at all to point out an error in it. There is in fact an abundance of errors in just the first clip. I'll in fact play the first video again so you can see how many errors you may be able to point out. So how many did you find? Well, all the errors I found can be put into three groups. I say groups because some of these errors are all because of the same thing. But if you found anything I don't mention here, then that means you know more about my own video than I do. So definitely feel free to boast about it in the comments because it helps out the channel, and also if you have any suggestions, feel free to leave those down there as well. But without further ado, I will get started on what I found. First and foremost, the most obvious thing on here, and if you didn't see this, you need to go see a mental health doctor, is that the pig disappears about halfway through the video. Now, I'm not going to explain why any of this is the way it is until I explain how I made it, but for now, just know that that is definitely the biggest one. Next up on the right side of the screen, you'll see that the leaves in the background on that tree are frozen, so are the flowers, and so are the villagers in the background. A less obvious thing is that the clouds are also frozen, on specifically the right side. So all these frozen things I'm going to count as one because that really is the same issue. However, the least obvious one I found, and I barely caught this one, is that about halfway through the video, the shadow of the name tag of the left Mixed Culture Steve has been cut off. So this totals it up for 3 errors. Now pointing these out will make a whole lot more sense once I go over how this thing was made, because I really want to stress that if you spend enough time on this, you can make it look completely real. However, it's also important to note that if you don't care too much and people will probably overlook certain things, you can do things like this pretty quick. Basically, the biggest parts of this can be done really fast, but the micro-adjusting and the getting things just right, the fine-tuning, if you will, that is what takes a while. Now, something I want to point out before I explain how this was done is that I also used the replay mod to do this. Most of you probably already knew that since the replay mod is so popular, but I felt like it would be worth mentioning for those of you who may not have known. Alright, so now I've got some explaining to do. So basically what's going on here is I'm taking the same video but 2 different times in that video, and I'm putting one half of one on one side and one half of the other on the other side. The result obviously being that it looks like there's 2 of me. But this still begs the question of where the errors came from. Now I know it would be appropriate to show you visually how the errors took place, but I'm not going to do that because they really are simple reasons. It boils down to me not spending enough time on this. I mean, the reasons are obvious. One can tell with a quick glance that the reason the pig disappears is because the crop of the second part of the video overtook the first one. All the same, obviously, the right side is a different crop of a frozen image while the left side is one that's moving. Pointing these out visually is going to do no good, as it is very obvious that that's what's going on here. Nevertheless, the fixes are very simple, and if you spend enough time on it, you can definitely make things better. Now, I know this video did seem a little quick and rushed and maybe even poorly constructed, but I did want to upload by Friday. That being said, I hope to make things more patiently in the future, as I will hope to have more time. As such, feel free to subscribe, leave suggestions, and like this video, and I will see you in the next one.